All right, Mr. Dorfman, there you go, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Your point of contact will probably be Trooper Parker from here
Trooper
on.
Parker?
Okay?
Yeah, all right, sure thing.
Okay. Have fun.
Who is this guy?
Yeah. How you doing there, Mr. Jasper?
Yeah, not too bad, Mr. Dorfman. Been a bit.
Yeah, you, sound like you're feeling a little better than the last time we spoke.
Not really much I can do in here, so why ponder on it too much?
Appreciate you taking some time out and answering a few questions. I wanted to follow up on some of our conversation that we had last time. Now, I missed some of the initial information and conversation that we did have originally. That was I was not in the room at the time that some of the questions that conversation happened between you and Captain Dazzler. So forgive me if I run over some of the same ground. Okay.
And no worries, Mr. Dorfman. That's what you need to know.
Did when Mr. Gambino when there was a job to get done, particularly as it related to some of the individuals that you listed off that that Mr. Gambino had you go after. Was he always giving you those commands or those directions verbally, or did he ever give those to you in on your phone or in written form?
And we were smart. We only talked about that shit in person, face to face.
All right. And did you do that there at the shop, in the back room of the barber shop, or was it usually out in a kind of another location?
Different places. Sometimes in the shop. Sometimes we'd go up to the dam. Sometimes the observatory. Sometimes we'd go out to the middle of nowhere. Have a nice chat.
Remember, we control your parole, so behave.
See,
Sometimes we just took a drive. Nice long drive around the city.
he's got that real fast tuner car, right?
Luca? I mean,
Yeah.
he's got a couple of different cars. Most of the time we took the Baller, though. SUV I had at the time.
I see.
Now belongs to, at least I left it to Darren Fall. I left him the title and the keys and the letter.
All right. Was what was the reason that that was given to you for taking out Danny Slater? Mr. Gambino ordered that himself?
Yeah, he did. He told me that Danny threatened his life. Disrespected him. Needed to be taken care of.
And what did you understand taking care of meant? Did he just want a message sent, or was he implying a more permanent result?
He told us to send a message that Danny Slater wouldn't forget. And that's what I did.
All right. Were you aware if Mr. Slater had any financial dealings with Mr. Gambino?
Oh, you mean you mean the loan business? Everyone going around saying that Danny Slater owed us money, etc., etc. No, that was a big misunderstanding. Slater ran into a car that Luca was driving at the time. A car that didn't belong to him. And no, Luca told him that he was gonna owe him for the repairs. Danny took it a bit seriously. Started getting paranoid and shit, from what I understand.
Huh. What about his, so it wasn't really about money. Mr. Gambino was just looking to get the cost of his auto repairs paid back. Kind of like swapping insurance.
About respect, Mr. Dorfman.
Right.
To Luca Gambino, respect is everything. Disrespect him, well, that's a problem.
I understand. His, was there something that Mr. Gambino wanted from Mr. Slater? Something that Mr. Slater and maybe Jesse were uniquely positioned to provide?
Danny Slater had worked at the chop shop. And they asked him about information on that. About the guys running it. They wouldn't give us anything, though. Said if he gave us anything, it would put Jesse in danger. Being a newly married man, you know, kind of made sense for him to take that stance. Kind of what I expected.
And once he dug his heels in and wouldn't play ball, you had no... Well, you had to carry out the orders that were given to you.
End of the day, Mr. Dorfman, I was an attack dog. I was given a command to attack. I'm proud of it, but done is done. I can sit here, sit in my lonely fucking cell looking at the same four walls, thinking about how I could have done things differently. That doesn't make a difference. I let Luca Gambino control me. Look where it led me. Right in this beautiful place. Then 4 more fucking walls.
Was, how much faith do you think Mr. Gambino places in Bruce Greenwell?
Bruce Greenwell? Week after the guy became an associate for the family, Luca wanted to bring him in. Full on, full stop, everything. So I'd say he's got a pretty good amount of faith in the guy.
Why do you think he wanted to bring him in so quickly?
My guess, Bruce been in the city a while. A lot of people, connections. Connections are everything in this world. We gave him some work to do. He did it well.
So he kind of proved himself with the things that he was given. And that, plus his tenure and his reputation in the city, Mr. Gambino felt confident in bringing him in, full on.
Yeah. I managed to talk him down, though. Made it last a few more weeks, made him prove himself a bit more. But I think Luca's got plans for his business. For the airfield up in Sandy.
What kind of plans do you think he has? Little import-export business under the radar?
Maybe. I know there was a time we were looking at possibly moving product through Greenwell's Plains. And there was a time that Bruce was offering Overwatch. People willing to pay for it. Keep an eye on the cops, let you know when they're coming. You can get out and take care of the business you need to take care of.
Whoa, that's huge.
Get away.
Yeah, that would be a pretty valuable source of information, especially it'll put you on more equal footing with the eyes in the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
Was Bruce ever brought around or involved in any of the hits that were done? Or is that not his style? He's more information guy.
Was Bruce was the one that was supposed to take Danny out. Kind of a way to prove himself. Unfortunately, he had a flight he'd already scheduled come up around the time that we managed to get our hands on Danny. I took care of it myself.
Bruce was at the outside the Slater wedding, wasn't he? Was he not?
How do you think we found where Danny Slater was, Mr. Dorfman?
We're paid $850 a day to house, feed, and clothe you.
Kind of what I thought.
Bruce and Slater's had history.
I see. What kind of what kind of history that was?
I used to work together for a guy. Don't remember his name. Not really anything special.
So they had a falling out. Business associates worked for the same guy. They had a falling out.
I wouldn't say they had a falling out. Bruce, one of the first things he sold for us, a couple of switchblades. Sold to Jesse Slater.
Huh. So so it wasn't really a falling out. It was just that they knew each other. They had past business dealings. Like you said, connections.
Exactly.
Think about it, man. You're part of America's best growth industry. Be happy.
Was where was the you had said before that you took him out to the swamp near the Air Force or near the air base that's there off of Great Ocean. Do you know the where that exact spot was that you took Mr. Slater?
I want to say it was fairly close to a dock. No buildings around. A little rinky dock. If I'm remembering correctly. I mean, it's been several months ago, Mr. Dorfman.
I understand. Was
Went
it
out that way a lot, though. But
was it
I
actually?
don't know. After a while, it kind of all blends together.
Was it actually in the swamp area, or was it down along the western coast?
It's in the swamps.
And would you say that was on the north side of the river or on the south side of the river?
Northern side. Just down from the base.
All
I
right.
could see the fence as we walked away.
So you were pretty close then to the air base, if you could see the fences.
I mean, there's a cliff edge there, if I
Right.
recall correctly.
Yeah, there's a cliff edge, but yeah, if you could see the fences, you were fairly close. See, there's a rinky dock. How about was Mr. Slater on the dock, or was he?
No.
He was off the dock
It's in the edge of the water, in the mud.
in the mud. All right. Did do you know if oh, Bruce? I guess Bruce was he selling weapons that Mr. Gambino had acquired through his connections, or were those weapons that Bruce had otherwise? Do you know?
Now there were weapons that we acquired.
And was that the first time that Miss Slater bought weapons from the Gambinos?
First and only time. As far as I know, she never bought any more. Obviously, that might have changed now, considering how long I've been in here. But, you know.
Yeah, of course. But at the time, that was the one and only dealing that you were aware of.
Yeah, I believe she bought 2 or 3 switchblades from him.
How would you characterize Mr. Gambino's relationship with the people from Grove Street? You ever have any dealings or negotiations with those guys?
Yeah. I attended several meetings between Luca Gambino and Jack Jackson and his boys. And even Archie Cooper. They bought weapons from us multiple times.
What was Mr. Cooper's involvement?
No clue. He was in one of the cells. We met down at the docks. Sold Jack Jackson 2 micro SMGs, if I remember correctly.
I see. Is there ever any concern that use of these weapons could get traced back to you in some way?
Trace back to us how? Think we had serial numbers on those guns, Mr. Dorfman? Think we registered them with the Los Santos Firearm Registration Center?
I was going to ask if the serial numbers were, if there were serial numbers on those weapons, or if they were filed off when you got them, or.
Never really paid attention. Only one way you could have pinpointed those guns were coming from us. See us giving them away ourselves.
Yeah, and that's you guys took great care. Keep that out of the shadows, unlike some other organizations.
And we were very smart. The way that we handled things.
Was how deep in the family is Jilly?
Last time I talked to Jilly, is an associate working at the barber shop. Been, what, a month, 2 months ago? I don't even know how long now. I'm telling how far Lucas pulled him in.
Can I get a beat down on number 855?
What's the difference?
Billy's,
Go ahead.
Billy's something unique. I don't know. One of those guys that, you know, you think could be good, you could consider a friend, you could count on, but a bit of a dark side to him. So if Luca figured out how to tap into that, how to push Jilly's buttons,
We're paid $850 a day.
yeah, I don't know.
Speed and close you.
Is that the kind of people Mr. Gambini looks for to bring it into his business? People who he can push the buttons on, pull out the very worst of them. Let me
Two
rephrase
things
that.
that matter to the family:
Pull out the dark
loyalty and
side of
respect.
them. Gotcha.
I wouldn't say that Mr. Gambino looks for people that he can pull the dark side out of. I wouldn't say that's really his style at all. He wants someone that's already got the dark side there. He just needs to know how to tap into it, how to point you in the right direction.
Are we gonna have to put you in solitary?
What do you think his motive is? Mr. Gambino's motivations are. What do you think drives him? I mean, you talk a lot about respect. I get that. Is there something deeper that you feel that drives him as an underlying motivation to action?
Boy, look, Mr. Dorfman, a psychiatrist. Pretty sure there's Jay Parker, Zoe Lyris, if you want to ask questions like that.
I'm asking you because you've been around him, you know him. You've been in a business associate of
Yeah, I
him.
don't know.
He pushed.
Luca's a tough one to read at times. Guy could be a complete fucking psychopath one moment, completely composed the next.
Ever notice anything that seemed to trigger him?
I don't know. I can't really think of any specific triggers, but I remember one time we had some issues with the Vagos following us around, and I don't know. Next thing I know, Luca spins the car around. We pull up in Jamestown, and he just opens fire. A bunch of random people there. Guns them all down. Drives away. Like it meant nothing.
This about 2 weeks ago, or 2 months ago, I mean.
A few months ago. While back. Back when, back before Jesus found himself locked up here.
Think about it, man. You're part of America's best growth industry. Be happy.
Yeah, I think the Vagos still refer to that as the Jamestown Massacre.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of shootouts happened there.
Yeah. They're, I've had my own experience down there, believe me. Had my van filled full of holes with a guy with a helmet that looked like a monkey. Did a drive-by on my news van one time, several months ago.
Game.
You ever come across a guy like that wearing a kind of a helmet. This looks like almost like a motorcycle helmet that's painted with a monkey's face on it. Almost like if you know what the Iowa State Buckeye mascot or the Ohio State Buckeye mascot looks like. It's almost like that face. Kind of a rounded look to it, but it's not not like a Halloween mask. It's a motorcycle helmet.
Can't say that I have.
All right.
Can I get a peek down on number 855?
Let's talk a little bit about Matthew Miller. How long is he? How long was he involved with the family?
On the left, rights on the right, ground down the middle for your own safety.
Spades was, I don't know, brought in a few weeks before everything hit the fan.
You two get along?
I didn't have any big issues with him. A little bit more of a biker than I would have preferred, but fit the bill all right.
He went out. Did he go out with you on any, any jobs that Mr. Gambino needed you to? Any messages that he needed you to send?
Spades?
Yeah. You ever get into dirty work?
Are we gonna have to put you in solitary? Thank you.
Yeah. It was an incident I don't think I mentioned before. A few weeks back, I don't know, maybe a week or so before I turned myself in. I grabbed Dmitry Barkov,
That's right. I thought he was going to go with that. Yes.
took him to the beach, Paleto.
No tocar, por favor.
Spades filled the guy with lead.
This was east of Paleto, right there on the northern shore, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you
Yeah,
walk
somewhere, somewhere along in there.
Why don't you walk me through that? Why was Mr. Barkov? Why did it feel like a message needed to be sent to him?
Barkov's always been a disgusting, disrespectful little rat. Been nothing but a pain in the family's side. It's the first day I met him.
But he didn't work for the family, right?
No, fuck no.
Who did he work for?
Can you stop hurting each other?
Sometimes he worked for,
Our bottom line.
Harry Brown. And, so I'm working with SecuriServe a little bit.
What was the incident that kind of sent his name up over the over the threshold where he needed to be dealt with?
Inmates on drug charges. You might be
As I said, he'd always been a disrespectful rat towards the family. And, came back into the city, came up to the shop one day. Very disrespectful towards the shop itself. Eric Falk, and Robin Miles.
Blacks on the left, whites
Did Mr. Gambino greenlight the hit on him?
Yes.
And where were you when you discussed Dmitry Barkov at last with Mr. Gambino?
Don't remember exactly. Taking a drive, probably.
Was Barkov, do you think, involved in doing a drive-by of the shop, spraying it with bullets around that same period of time?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea. Around that time, we had issues with a few different people that could have done that.
So he was just generally disrespectful, and maybe there was some particular incident that triggered it, but he was a problem.
Need to be taught a lesson. We taught him a lesson.
And you're saying Spades, he was the one that pulled the trigger on that.
Yeah.
Where did you, how did you come across Mr. Barkov that day?
I had Spades reach out to him. Say that he was a friend of Harry Brown's. Wanted to talk about setting up some gambling. He agreed to meet. So Spades met with him, out near that fishing pier, north of Chumash.
Here you're talking about the north of Chumash. Gotcha.
Yeah, just south of Paleto.
I got you. The one that's down the hill. It's got the you have to go down this like a large set of steps to get to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately, Barkov had some company with him. Mike Lemonade and some broad I didn't recognize. Myself and Darren Full were following to make sure the job was taken care of. Bates didn't fuck it up. And we saw the Securo Surf truck. Heard the Lemonade was with Barkov. We intervened. Paid Mike $10,000 to leave the scene.
Whoa!
Told me if he ever talked about it again, he'd find himself in a similar situation.
What about the girl that was there?
Like I said, no idea who she was. Didn't get her name, didn't talk to her. They were gone when we left with Barkov in the truck.
All right. Were they sitting outside of the area, kind of sitting back, or at the parking lot area, I should say?
It's the path that leads down to the pier, the driveway or whatever you want to call it, the little road, goes down a hill, down towards the beach. They had the truck parked beside a large rock.
I don't know what happened.
I believe Darren wired the $10,000 directly to Lemonade's account.
This would be Darren.
Darren Full. He was Luca's advisor. I'd imagine he's probably taken over my role at this point. The only other person I could think that Luca would trust with that much information.
All right. All right, so you had him wire $10,000 to Mike Lemonade. Keep quiet. Then you went up and you Spades did what he did. Did you observe it from your vehicle, or were you right there on the beach with him?
I didn't watch him get shot, but I gave the order.
Which was the order from Mr. Gambino to you?
Yes.
Please save all intimate assaults for the shower block.
Now, forgive me if this was a question that you and Mr. Dazzler spoke about. I don't believe I was privileged to this, but do you know why? Do you know why Robin would have been in danger?
Talking about after I turned myself in?
Yeah, I guess the timing on that was right after you turned yourself in.
Are we gonna have to put you in solitary? Thank you.
Like I said, if you address this with Dazzler, I'm sorry about that. It's just a piece of the puzzle I'm trying to understand.
Robin was, Robin was something special, Mr. Dorfman. Loyal to a fault.
$850 a day to house, feed, and clothe you.
Told her to jump, she jumped. She didn't ask questions. She would have died for the family, would have killed for the family. The only person she was more loyal to than the family was me. And that scared Luca. And that scared Darren.
Come on! Exercise!
I see. Had she was she a full member of the family, or was she just an associate?
Miles is as family gets, Mr. Dorfman.
No! Son of a